This is the story about the first time I went to the strip club and how I almost ended up in jail. So grab a cup of coffee or a beer, sit down, and let's have a little story time, shall we? So for my 18th birthday, I was living in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and we'll call my best friend, let's call her Jennifer. So Jennifer wanted to take me to a strip club for my 18th birthday, to an all-male strip club, to the Chip and Dale's night. And for you Gen X ladies out there, y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. So I was super excited. I had never been, and we went and we had a fantastic time, okay? We had such a good time that midway through our night, we got a note passed to us from one of the servers, which was actually from one of the dancers. And let's call him Tristan, okay? So Tristan sends a note and says, why don't y'all stay and shut the club down? And then we'll go out afterwards. So I'm 18, she's 21. We're like, oh my God, this super hot guy. I mean, he looked like a Greek god, all right? He had long, blonde hair, almost down to his rear end. The body of an Adonis, of an angel, just beautiful to look at. Well, little did we know that shutting the strip club down meant we would be there until 4 a.m. Okay, that's all right. Hot guy, 4 a.m. Who cares, right? So we get him, and we go outside to go get in his car, and he's like, well, ladies, where are we off to? So he has no car. So he gets into my friend Jennifer's car, and because he's like 6'4", I let him sit in the front seat, and I sit in the back seat. And this does have a purpose. I mean, there's a reason for me telling you all this. So it's like, what are we going to do? Where do you want to go? You know, what kind of hell are we going to raise tonight? And he's like, oh, I'm super hungry. Why don't we go to Denny's? Well, being that it was 4 a.m., we didn't have, many choices of places to eat back then. Of course, this was a million moons ago. And so we went to Denny's, and we sat there, and we talked to this guy. And the more we talked to him, the more I got this, like, sick feeling in the pit of my stomach. Y'all know, intuition, that little voice that tells us this is not a good idea. So I sat there, and I'm trying to figure out how to tell Jennifer that we've got to figure out a way to get rid of this guy, to ditch him. We've got to ditch him. We have to, because we have nowhere to go. At this point, I was living with my boyfriend, and I certainly couldn't take him back there, and she was living with her parents. So it's like, okay, well, what are we going to do now? What are we doing next? You know what I want to do? I want to go to the beach. I want to go to the beach and watch the sunrise with two gorgeous women. It's like, okay, well, that sounds like fun. Yeah, let's go get some beers, and we'll go to the beach. Okay. So I'm getting more and more anxious as time passes and the further that we drive. And he happens to mention that he lives in Delray Beach, which, if you're familiar with Florida, Fort Lauderdale and Delray is a pretty good clip away. Not the kind of drive you want to make at 5 o'clock in the morning when you've been up all night partying. So anyway, we stop at a gas station to get beer. He wants beer and cigarettes. So we stop, and he gets out and goes in, and I was like, okay, all right, Jennifer, no, we have to go. We're just going to leave him here. And she's like, we can't do that. I'm like, yes, we can. We can leave him here. I don't care how cute he is. I don't care how tall he is. I don't care how tan he is. I don't care about anything except for the fact that I feel a bad feeling, and I don't ignore my bad feelings. So she's like, well, what are we supposed to do? And I said, I don't know. So the next thing I know, she just peels out of the parking lot. Okay? So now we have just ditched Tristan, the stripper, the exotic dancer, at the gas station, at the Exxon, right off of A1A. And we take off and we go back to my house, and we're laughing and just, cutting up about the night and, how cute he was. And, then she's like, I can't believe you made me, leave him like that. I'm like, I don't care. He could have been a serial killer. He could have been, he could have taken us to the beach and chopped us into little pieces, and no one would have ever seen us again. I watched too much true crime. Anyway, so we go back to my house. As my boyfriend is getting up to go to work, we lay down in the bed. And we've been asleep for about, 2 hours, maybe. And the phone starts ringing. And it just keeps ringing and ringing and ringing. So finally, I answer the phone. I'm like, hello. Well, it's Jennifer's big sister. And she says, what have y'all been up to? What kind of trouble did y'all get into last night? What do you mean, what kind of trouble? What are you talking about? We didn't get into any trouble. It was my birthday. We went out and celebrated. So she's like, I want to know why. There is the manager to the strip club that we had been to is calling our phone. What? What do you mean? The strip club's calling your phone? I don't know what you're talking about. So I'm reaching over and I'm trying to wake up Jennifer. I'm like, you got to wake up, your sister's on the phone. The strip club somehow has figured out that we ditched this guy. I have no idea how they've done that. I don't even know how he has, how did he get your phone number? And she's like, don't you remember? We gave him our numbers on a piece of paper. Or at least I gave him mine. That's how he has our number. And I was like, well, you should have thought about that before we ditched him at the damn Exxon. So anyway, then she says, yeah, the manager of the strip club says that they're fixing to call the cops and that if y'all aren't there in the next half an hour with his money, you're going to jail. And I'm like, money? What? What are you talking about? His money? We don't have his money. We never had his money. Didn't even know he had any money. Well, we go down to Jennifer's car and look in the glove box, which is where her sister graciously told us to look. And there in the glove box of her car is a wad, gigantic, huge wad of, bills. Dollar bills, $5 bills, 10s, 20s, 50s, 100s, whole roll of them. Probably, a couple of $1,000s in cash. Well, we had no idea that was in the car. No clue. So we had to get dressed and drive over. She wouldn't go by herself. She made me go with her and take Tristan his money back and try to explain to him why it was that we ditched him at the Exxon off of A1A in Fort Lauderdale, Florida at 5 o'clock in the morning. So that's just one of my little adventures I thought I would share with you. I hope that you're having a fabulous Tuesday and that your week gets even better. Bye.